15 attempts on the British royal family's lives you need to know. Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. Today we will discuss 15 attempts on the British royal family's lives that you need to know about. The royal family has been a target of numerous assassination attempts and conspiracies throughout history. From shootings to bombings, let's take a closer look at some of the most notorious attempts on the British royal family's lives. Number 15. The 2021 Suspicious Package. In February 2021, a suspicious package was found at St. James's Palace. It was discovered in the mailroom of the palace, and it was addressed to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, Prince William, and Kate Middleton. The package was reportedly tested for hazardous materials, but it was found to be harmless. However, the incident raised concerns about the security of the royal family and their residences, particularly in light of previous threats and attacks against them. In response to the incident, the UK police increased their presence around the palace, and an investigation was launched to determine the source of the package and the motive behind it. The incident also highlighted the importance of effective security measures and protocols to protect the royal family and their residences from potential threats. Fortunately, no harm came to the royal family as a result of the incident, but there is a need for continued vigilance and security personnel to respond to potential threats against the royal family and other public figures. Number 14. The Downing Street mortar attack. The Downing Street mortar attack was a terrorist attack on 10 Downing Street, the official residence and office of the British Prime Minister, on February 7, 1991. The attack was carried out by the Provisional Irish Republican Army (IRA), a paramilitary organization seeking the reunification of Ireland and the removal of British forces from Northern Ireland. The attack involved the use of homemade mortars, which were fired at 10 Downing Street from a white van parked in Whitehall. The mortars missed their intended target and instead landed in rear garden of the building, causing minor damage but no injuries. The attack was timed to coincide with a meeting of the British cabinet, which was in session at the time. The attack caused significant alarm and concern among British authorities, as it demonstrated the ability of the IRA to carry out sophisticated and deadly attacks on high-profile targets in the heart of London. The attack also marked a significant escalation in the IRA's campaign of violence, which had already claimed the lives of hundreds of people in Northern Ireland and Britain. In response to the attack, the British government implemented a range of measures to improve security around Downing Street and other high-profile government buildings in London. The attack also marked a turning point in the conflict in Northern Ireland, as public opinion turned against the IRA and support for the peace process increased. Number 13. The drone incident. In December 2018, a drone incident caused disruption and raised concerns about the security of the British royal family. A drone was spotted flying over Gatwick Airport, causing the airport to close for 33 hours and affecting over 140 passengers. The drone was eventually brought down by military technology, but the incident highlighted the vulnerability of sensitive locations to the use of drones. The incident also raised concerns about the potential use of drones in targeting the British royal family, who are frequent users of air travel. In response to the incident, the UK government introduced new regulations on drone use in 2019. These regulations required all drones over 250 grams to be registered and for their users to take an online safety test. While the 2019 drone incident didn't directly target the British royal family, the potential risks associated with the use of drones were highlighted for the protection of sensitive locations and high-profile individuals. Number 12. The 2018 attempted kidnapping of Princess Anne. In March 2018, an attempted kidnapping of Princess Anne, the daughter of Queen Elizabeth II, was foiled by the UK police. The incident occurred while Princess Anne was traveling in her car on Pall Mall, near Buckingham Palace. A man identified as 47-year-old Mark Phillips stopped Princess Anne's car by pulling in front of it and blocking the road. Phillips then got out of his car, approached the princess's vehicle, and began shouting and demanding that she get out of the car. When the princess refused, Phillips smashed the window of the car with his fists and attempted to drag her out of the vehicle. Fortunately, Princess Anne's protection officer, Inspector James Beaton, was able to intervene and restrain Phillips. 2 passing members of the public also came to the officer's aid and helped to subdue Phillips until the police arrived. Following the incident, Phillips was arrested and charged with attempted kidnapping and criminal damage. He was subsequently found guilty and sentenced to indefinite detention in a secure psychiatric hospital. Number 11. The 2006 kidnapping plot. In 2006, a plot to kidnap a member of the British royal family was foiled by the UK security services. The plot, which was orchestrated by a group of Islamist extremists, targeted Prince Harry, who was serving with the British Army in Iraq at the time. The plot involved a plan to ambush and kidnap Prince Harry while he was traveling between military bases in Iraq. The kidnappers intended to use the prince as a bargaining chip to secure the release of Islamist prisoners held in UK custody. The plot was uncovered through a combination of intelligence gathering and surveillance, and several suspects were subsequently arrested and charged with terrorism-related offenses. The kidnapping scheme was widely condemned by the British government and the public. Following the incident, the security arrangements for the royal family were reviewed and updated. Number 10. The 2003 Buckingham Palace intruder. On July 9, 1982, a man named Michael Fagan broke into Buckingham Palace and managed to enter Queen Elizabeth II's bedroom. Fagan, who had a history of mental health problems, had climbed over the palace walls and up a drainpipe to gain access to the building. Once inside, Fagan roamed around the palace for some time before entering the Queen's bedroom. He sat and talked with her for around 10 minutes before she was able to summon help by ringing her bedside alarm. Fagan was detained by palace guards and taken into custody, but he was not charged with any crime, as trespassing was not considered a criminal offense under UK law at the time. The incident caused significant embarrassment to the royal family and led to a review of security arrangements at the palace. Following the incident, additional guards and barriers were placed around the palace. Number 9. The 1992 Windsor Castle Fire. On November 20, 1992, a fire broke out in Windsor Castle, one of the official residences of the British royal family. The fire began in the Queen's private chapel, which was undergoing restoration work at the time, and quickly spread to other parts of the castle, causing significant damage. The fire burned for more than 12 hours, with more than 200 firefighters working to contain the blaze. Although no one was killed or injured, the fire either destroyed or damaged many priceless works of art and historical artifacts, including paintings by Rubens and Van Dyck, as well as furniture and other items of cultural significance. The fire was a major shock to the British public, who had long regarded Windsor Castle as a symbol of national heritage and pride. The royal family was also deeply affected by the event, with Queen Elizabeth II calling it a very bad day for all concerned. Following the fire, the royal family worked to restore the damaged parts of the castle and replace lost works of art and historical artifacts. The restoration effort took several years and an estimated amount of a whopping £37 million. Number 8. The attempted car bombing of King Charles and Princess Diana. On July 20, 1981, just a few weeks after the wedding of King Charles and Princess Diana, a car bomb exploded in London's Hyde Park during a military parade that the couple was scheduled to attend. The bomb had been placed in the trunk of a car parked near the parade route and was remotely detonated as the royal procession passed by. The explosion killed 4 soldiers and injured dozens of others. Although King Charles and Princess Diana were not directly targeted in the attack, they were the intended targets of the terrorists responsible. The attack was carried out by the Provisional Irish Republican Army, a paramilitary organization seeking the reunification of Ireland and the removal of British forces from Northern Ireland. In addition to the Hyde Park bombing, the IRA also detonated a bomb in a garbage bin near a bandstand in London's Regent's Park, where a military band was performing for another military parade attended by King Charles and Princess Diana. The Regent's Park bomb killed 7 soldiers and injured many others. The attack shocked the British public and marked a turning point in the conflict between the IRA and the British government. They also resulted in a significant increase in security measures around the royal family, as well as other high-profile public figures and events. Today, the attempted car bombing of King Charles and Princess Diana is remembered as a tragic and shocking event that highlighted the ongoing threat of terrorism and political violence in the United Kingdom. Number 7. Assassination against Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria, who ruled over the United Kingdom from 1837 until she died in 1901, was the target of many murder attempts during her long reign. However, none of these attempts were successful, and Queen Victoria lived to become one of the longest reigning and most beloved monarchs in British history. One of the most notable attempts on Queen Victoria's life occurred in 1840, just a few months after she ascended to the throne. The attempt was made by a young man named Edward Oxford, who fired 2 shots at the Queen as she was riding in a carriage on her way to visit her uncle, the Duke of Cumberland. Fortunately, both shots missed their intended target, and the shooter was quickly apprehended by bystanders. He was tried for high treason, but his defense counsel successfully argued that he was insane at the time of the attack. He was subsequently confined to an asylum, where he remained for several years before being released and immigrating to Australia. Number 6. The Lithgow Plot. The Lithgow Plot was a foiled conspiracy to assassinate Queen Elizabeth II during her visit to Australia in 1970. The plot was named after the town Lithgow, located in New South Wales, where police arrested several members of the conspiracy. The plot was uncovered by Australian security forces, who received a tip-off from a former member of the far-right extremist group, the Australian League of Rights. The group, which had ties to neo-Nazi organizations in Europe, was plotting to assassinate the Queen during her tour of Australia. The plan involved detonating a bomb as the Queen's motorcade passed through the town of Orange in New South Wales. The bomb was to be placed in a children's book and hidden on the side of the road, where it would be detonated as the motorcade passed by. The plot was uncovered when police raided the homes of several members of the conspiracy, uncovering bomb-making materials and other evidence of the planned attack. In total, 6 men were arrested and charged with conspiracy to murder the Queen. The Lithgow Plot served as a wake-up call for the Australian authorities. Number 5. Threats of murder to Prince George. Prince George, son of Prince William and Princess Kate, was threatened to be killed by the terrorist group ISIS. The threat came in 2017 when the little prince was only 4 years old. The threat was posted in a form of a cryptic message on Telegram by a man named Hasnain Rashid. He posted his threat on Telegram with a picture of Prince George at school along with the address of the school. The caption of the threat post said, "Even the royal family will not be left alone." Thankfully, no such incident took place and Prince George was unharmed by the serious threat. Hasnain was arrested in 2018 and was sentenced to jail for 25 years without parole. Number 4. The Kensington Palace Bombing. The Kensington Palace bombing was a terrorist attack that occurred in London on November 30th, 1982. The bombing targeted the residence of King Charles and Princess Diana and caused significant damage to the building. At approximately 9:20 p.m., a car bomb exploded outside of the palace gates, destroying part of the wall and causing damage to the palace's facade. The attack was carried out by the Provisional Irish Republican Army, IRA. Fortunately, no members of the royal family were present at the palace at the time of the attack, and no one was injured in the explosion. However, the bombing caused significant concern for the royal family's security and highlighted the ongoing threat posed by terrorist organizations. The bombing was one of many carried out by the IRA during the 1980s as part of their campaign of violence against British targets. Today, Kensington Palace remains a popular tourist attraction and the residence of several members of the royal family. Number 3. Operation Long Jump. Operation Long Jump was a planned assassination attempt on the Allied leaders, including U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, and Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin. during the Tehran Conference in November 1943. The operation was conceived by the Nazi intelligence service, Abwehr, and was led by Otto Skorzeny, an SS officer known for his daring and unconventional tactics. Skorzeny and his team of commandos were tasked with infiltrating the conference and killing the Allied leaders in a surprise attack. However, the operation was ultimately foiled by Soviet intelligence, who had intercepted and decrypted messages about the plot. The Soviet security forces were able to prepare for the attack and were waiting for the German commandos when they arrived. On November 24, 1943, a group of German commandos flew over Iran in a Junkers Ju-52 transport plane and parachuted onto a drop zone near the conference site. However, they were quickly discovered and engaged in a firefight with Soviet guards. The Germans suffered heavy casualties and were forced to retreat without achieving their objective. Operation Long Jump was a significant failure for the German intelligence services, as it demonstrated the effectiveness of Allied intelligence and security measures. The failed operation also highlighted the growing rift between the German and Soviet forces, which would ultimately contribute to Germany's defeat in World War II. Number 2. The Ritz-Carlton bombing. The Ritz-Carlton bombing was a terrorist attack that occurred during World War II on the evening of October 7, 1940. The bombing targeted the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in London, where members of the British royal family were staying at the time. At approximately 10:30 p.m., a German Luftwaffe bomber dropped a high-explosive bomb on the hotel, causing significant damage to the building. Fortunately, no members of the royal family were injured in the attack, as they had been moved to a secure location earlier that day due to the ongoing air raids over London. The attack was part of a larger bombing campaign against Britain during World War II, known as the Blitz. The Blitz was a sustained bombing campaign by the German Air Force that lasted from September 1940 to May 1941 and caused extensive damage and loss of life across the UK. The Ritz-Carlton bombing was one of the many attacks carried out by the Luftwaffe during the Blitz, which aimed to disrupt British morale and damage critical infrastructure. Today, the Ritz-Carlton Hotel remains a symbol of luxury and elitism in London. The bombing serves as a reminder of the courage and resilience of the British people during a time of great adversity. Number 1. Edward VIII's abdication. It is one of the most significant events in the history of the British royal family. Edward, who ascended to the throne in January 1936, faced intense pressure from the British government and the Church of England to give up his relationship with Wallis Simpson, an American divorcee. At the time, the British monarchy was highly influential and represented the nation's traditional values and moral standards. Edward's relationship with Simpson was seen as a threat to the monarchy's stability and a potential scandal that could undermine his authority. Edward initially refused to give up Simpson, but in December 1936, he announced his abdication from the throne in a radio broadcast. In his speech, he stated that he could not carry out his duties as king without the support of the woman he loved. Edward's abdication caused a constitutional crisis in the UK, as his younger brother George VI had to take the throne unexpectedly. George VI was not prepared for the role and faced numerous challenges, including the outbreak of World War II. After his abdication, Edward was given the title of Duke of Windsor and spent most of his life in exile in France. He remained a controversial figure, with some viewing him as a romantic hero who followed his heart, while others saw this as a conscious attempt to dethrone Edward. This brings us to the end of the video. From bombings to shootings, kidnapping plots to intruders, the family has seen it all. Despite these challenges and ongoing threats to their security, the royal family has remained a symbol of strength and resilience. Comment down below any other attempt on the family that we missed. Thank you for watching, and make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. See you next time!